In the deep hills of the KwaZulu-Natal region, in the year 1787, in present-day South Africa, Shaka Zulu, born Sigidi Kasenzanga Kona, was the son of Nandi, a proud woman of Elangeni clan, and Senzanga Kona, a Zulu chief. Branded illegitimate and named Shaka as an insult, a parasite, referring to an intestinal worm. He grew up in exile among the Mthethwa. The Zulu were then a minor clan, powerless, divided, and overshadowed by giants like the Ndwandwe under Zwide Kalanga and the Mthethwa Confederacy under Dingiswayo. Gifted with Isikulu Iso, the Great Eye, Shaka had prophetic visions which were not mere dreams but blueprints of conquest and a strategic mind. He was rejected by his father's people and often beaten and humiliated as a boy. Raised in exile among the Mthethwa under Chief Dingiswayo, a man known for wisdom and unity, Shaka was taken in as a soldier and then a commander. He sharpened his skills, reformed military systems, and introduced the short-stabbing spear, Iklua, that revolutionized warfare. After Dingiswayo's betrayal and execution by Zwide, Shaka took control, united scattered clans, absorbed the Mthethwa, and turned the Zulu from a clan into an empire. His bullhorn formation, the chest first, the horns flanked, the loins in reserve, and merit-based regiments created an unstoppable force. In 1818, Shaka crushed Zwide's superior army at Coakley Hill, securing his dominance over southern Africa and earning the respect of allies and enemies alike. Shaka ruled through vision, discipline, and fear. After his mother's death, grief turned to tyranny. He killed many and declared that no crops should be planted for a year. Yet he remained unmatched in battle, even as he encountered the shadows of European powers. Though compared to Napoleon, the Zulu claimed, Napoleon ruled with crowns, Shaka ruled with soul. In 1828, Shaka fought until his last breath. His grave is hidden, but his legacy roars on. The Zulu Empire he forged became the most formidable black-led state in southern Africa, defying colonial armies long after his death. Feared, revered, eternal. In 1879, under Cetshwayo, the Zulu defeated British forces at Isandlwana, the greatest indigenous victory against a colonial army in Africa. He did not simply lead a people, he forged a storm that still echoes through the hills of KwaZulu. Long before he was known as the Black Napoleon, before he became the feared general of the Zulu kingdom, Shaka Kasenzanga Kona was a boy haunted by vision and burdened with an awareness far beyond his years. A boy who saw the world with a depth and clarity that set him apart. According to rarely told Zulu oral traditions, Shaka was born with what the elders called the Isikulu Iso, the Great Eye. It was believed he could see beyond the physical, into the spirit world and into the hearts of men. Some say this is why his mother, Nandi, kept him close at night, whispering prayers to shield him from the spirits that crowded his dreams. Many historians dismiss these stories, calling them superstition. But within Zulu ancestral teachings, children born with such gifts were feared and revered, often destined for roles far greater than kingship alone. Here is something most people never knew about Shaka. It is said he barely slept more than 2 hours each night. Witnesses claimed he walked among his warriors under the stars, alone and barefoot, listening to the whispers of the earth, feeling the tremors of hidden enemies. He believed that sleep was a small death and that a warrior's duty was to remain ever awake, not only to danger but to destiny. Behind the iron and blood, Shaka had a heart, and it was broken once, deeply. Shaka was not only a fearsome warlord, but a man with a deeply wounded heart. Few know he once fell in love with a healer's daughter named Nomkoba, a woman whose name has been erased from most written records. According to hidden oral accounts, Nomkoba rejected his hand in marriage because her ancestors warned that his path was drenched in too much blood. Her rejection cut deeper than any spear. It is said that Shaka wept in secret for days. After her rejection, he vowed never to marry, never to love, and channeled his heartbreak into building a nation forged in iron. Near the end of his reign, Shaka began speaking of a vision. He saw white-skinned men flooding the coasts like an unstoppable tide, consuming the lands with their guns, greed, and God. He prophesied that Africa would weep, rivers of blood for centuries, but that a generation would rise, long after he was gone and his bones had returned to dust, to restore the continent's pride. Many dismissed his words as madness brought on by grief after his mother's death. But some of his closest warriors secretly recorded his prophecy in hidden praise poems passed down to this day. When Shaka was assassinated by his half-brothers Dingane and Mutlangana, it was framed as an act of power-hungry betrayal. But here is a little-known revelation. Zulu oral historians whisper that Shaka allowed himself to be killed. Why? Because after his mother's death, his spirit had left him. The ancestors had withdrawn their guidance, and his people, weary from endless wars, exhausted from years of conflict, needed peace more than they needed his iron fist. Before his death, he was heard muttering, "Let them take me now. I have built what I was sent to build. My time is done." Today, Shaka is remembered for his brutality and military genius. But hidden beneath those blood-soaked tales lies a deeper legacy. Beneath the surface was a visionary who transformed more than battlefields. He unified scattered clans, stopping centuries of inter-clan slavery that plagued southern Africa. He elevated the status of women healers and spiritual advisors in his court, believing their words carried more weight than his generals. His military formations were inspired by nature itself. He designed his regimental system based on the movements of migrating birds, believing nature was the best teacher of strategy. Shaka Zulu was not just a warrior king. He was a seer, a strategist, a lover, a broken son, and a man who may have seen too far into the future. He was a man who walked between worlds, broken by love, fueled by pain, guided by visions, and haunted by prophecies that still echo through Africa today. His story isn't just about conquest. It's about carrying a burden too heavy for one man. It's about the pain of vision, the cost of greatness, and the mystery of a king who walked between the worlds of the living and the spirit. Maybe the real story of Shaka isn't just a tale of blood, but about the burden of seeing too far ahead of your time. Maybe it's the story of what it means to see the future and be too early for it. Shaka saw a future no one else could see and carried a burden no one else could bear. If his story moved you, imagine the other legends hidden beneath centuries of silence. Subscribe, like, comment, and share, so together we can awaken the visions of the past and honor those who walked between worlds. Because here, we don't just tell history, we resurrect it.